So, folks, hey, do you guys remember the whole Jeffrey Epstein stuff that we've been talking about lately? You guys remember that, right? Well, it turns out that there are more discrepancies with the Jeffrey Epstein tape than were previously seen. CBS went through it with a fine tooth comb and found some really interesting data that we should probably talk about a little bit because it's interesting as hell. So let's take a look at what they found in their effort to figure out what's going on with that Jeffrey Epstein tape. Because remember, the the government released this tape saying it was the raw, unedited footage from outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell, or showed the cell block where Jeffrey Epstein was held. How raw and unedited was it?
This month, the Federal Bureau of Investigation released the primary video used in the investigation of the death of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Deputy Director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, described that video on Fox and Friends just weeks before its release.
There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release, that's what's taken a while on this, we are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him. There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there.
It turns out that there were indeed shenanigans.
And the only person coming out, you can see it.
We showed this video to multiple video forensics experts who agreed what the FBI and others have said is simply not true. That video and other evidence led to the conclusion by the government that Epstein's death on August 10, 2019, was suicide. An analysis in consultation with video forensic experts suggests multiple inconsistencies between statements from government officials, including Bongino, a report from the Department of Justice's Office of the Inspector General into Epstein's death released in 2023, and the tape itself. These inconsistencies, while not contradicting the conclusion Epstein died by suicide, do introduce questions that the government so far has declined to answer. We'll show you those in a moment. First, let's break this all down. Epstein was held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan, in a unit separate from the general population known as the Special Housing Unit, or SHU. The unit has 3 wings, each with 2 levels. Epstein was held in the upstairs L tier of his wing. That tier is accessed by a set of stairs from the central common area. Directly adjacent to those stairs is the officer's station, where
And it's just so strange that the cameras that normally would be working over here weren't working that night. So strange.
on-duty corrections officers spend most of their time. The Inspector General report says several cameras in the unit were streaming a live feed to a remote location in the prison, but no one was watching them. Malfunctioning equipment meant only one camera recorded the general area. That camera captured part of the common area, including the officer's station and a sliver of the staircase leading to Epstein's cell. The footage begins at 7:40 p.m. the night before Epstein's death. You can see staff and inmates moving about, preparing for the nightly lockdown. That's the officer's station in the background. Only 2 employees have been publicly identified. Tova Noel, a corrections officer pulling a double shift that began at 4 p.m., and Michael Thomas, a materials handler who won't arrive until midnight. Epstein is seen for the first and only time on camera at 7:49 p.m. when the Department of Justice said he was escorted to his cell from another wing of the unit. It's important to note here, you don't actually see Epstein ascend the stairwell to his cell block. Remember what Dan Bongino said.
There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
Let's zoom in and play that again in slow motion. Here's the sliver of stairs. Epstein is here with his escort, and they walk off screen. When the FBI released the video, they said anyone entering or attempting to enter the tier where Epstein's cell was located from the common area would have been captured by this footage. But with the primary entrance here, the pathway from the entrance to the stairs is completely out of view of the camera.
Huh. Isn't that interesting? Now, I gotta be honest here, guys. I haven't been fully married to the idea that maybe he killed himself. Maybe it was just made very easy for him to kill himself. I didn't know. But man, this seems like a really big oversight to make when the goddamn main entrance and the pathway to his cell can be completely bypassed the only working camera.
For the next hour or so, corrections officers and inmates are seen moving about, preparing for all prisoners to be locked down. At 8:21, another inmate is seen being escorted toward the stairs leading to Epstein's cell area. No movement is detected on the stairs again. By 8:24, all of the inmates appear to have been taken to their cells.
So we have literal multiple instances in the tape now of people being taken up to their cells, and no movement is detected on the stairwell.
Noel told the Inspector General she visited Epstein's cell at about 10 p.m. You can see her head in that direction here, albeit closer to 10:30, but not climb the stairs. The rules require rounds to be made every 30 minutes, but according to the report, this was the only time anyone checked on the inmates that night. There was even a sign printed on orange paper.
So the two doors we've been looking at have nothing to do with his room? Exactly. If we go back a little bit here, we look at this diagram. So his cell is right up here, right? The camera that we're looking at, the point of view we have is from right here.
Central common area.
Show right here.
Directly adjacent to those stairs is the officers' station, where on-duty corrections officers spend most of their time. The Inspector General report says several cameras in the unit were streaming a live feed to a remote location in the prison, but no one was watching them. Malfunctioning equipment meant only one camera recorded the general area. That camera captured part of the common area, including the officers' station.
So this is the basic setup. The camera whose point of view we're looking through is right here. There are two doors on the wall, on the right side that we can see very, very well, obviously. But then we are looking out onto this space, and this corner of the wall obscures enough of the camera that we cannot really see people going up the stairs into the cell block where Jeffrey Epstein was held, and his cell would have been the first one on the right.
And
so
Noel told the Inspector General she visited Epstein's cell at about 10 p.m. You can see her head in that direction here, albeit closer to 10:30, but not climb the stairs. The rules require rounds to be made every 30 minutes, but according to the report, this was the only time anyone checked on the inmates that night. There was even a sign printed on orange paper posted on the guard station saying mandatory rounds must be conducted every 30 minutes on Epstein, as per God.
Yeah, kind of weird that they posted a sign like that and then people didn't do shit. I love the high security prison system. That we have the highest security prisons of the world. And it's just like an orange sticky note. Mandatory?
This was because of concerns about his risk for suicide. At 10:38 p.m., the report says someone, probably Noel, carries a bundle of bedding or clothing up the stairs. It's a rare instance the video does catch movement on the stairs, but barely. Let's see that zoomed in and in slow motion again. Several of the video forensic experts we spoke with were skeptical about the report's conclusion and thought that the video could be showing an inmate walking up the stairs.
I mean, it is very bright orange.
Authorities say this was the last time anyone approached his cell block until his body was discovered the next morning. Again, while the video does not contradict that, experts who viewed the video say the limited field of view makes it impossible to definitively conclude that no one used those stairs in that time period.
Also, yeah, interesting. A bundle of bedding, perhaps extra bedding, one might say.
Beyond this, there are other issues our investigation and others have uncovered. At 11:21 p.m. and 34 seconds, a cursor appears briefly on screen, indicating the video may have been recorded with a camera or a screen recording and was not an export of the RAW file. The FBI said it had seized the prison's hard drive 5 days after his death and had released the full RAW footage this month. Two experts told CBS News the video's metadata, which tracks how a file is created and changed, shows it's made from two clips stitched together in editing software. Those experts also say the video was edited and saved multiple times. Next up, the now famous missing minute. At 11:57 and 35 seconds, an individual appears on screen from the direction of the main door. It's likely this is Michael Thomas arriving for his midnight shift and replacing the other staff member on duty who'd been working from 4 to midnight. Noel was starting a second shift of 8 hours. From that point on, only Noel and Thomas were on duty during the critical window when Epstein is believed to have died.
Also, damn, working a 16-hour shift? Fuck off. Like what are you doing? Fuck off with that shit.
At 11:58 and 58 seconds, the video jumps to midnight, and the aspect ratio of the video changes slightly. Another indication it may have been edited.
I mean, I feel like the metadata is a pretty clear indication that it's absolutely edited. It is very bizarre that the aspect ratio of the video would change, though. That is strange.
Zooming in and playing back in slow motion, you can see a slight shift in the shape of the figures standing or sitting around the officer's desk, but otherwise, nothing changes. Attorney General Pam Bondi attributed the missing minute to a nightly reset of the security camera system.
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999, so every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing, so we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night.
That additional video has not been released, and a government source is alleged to CBS News the FBI and other agencies are in possession of the full, unedited footage.
So, the FBI and other government agencies have the full unedited tape, but aren't releasing it for some reason. They have the missing minute. They aren't releasing it. I'm not prone to conspiracy theories, guys, but when these people have campaigned for years on releasing the Epstein files and like putting everything out into the light and let all of us judge as one, and then suddenly they're like, yeah, here's the unedited raw footage, and by the way, nothing happened, haha, and it's a hoax, ha. Nah, there's something bad in here, guys. There is something bad in here, and I don't know what it is. I don't know in what capacity this is bad. I have no idea, but it's really weird to make all these gaffes. And if this was a mistake, they could have quickly rectified it by just releasing the tapes that we know they have, but they're not. And that absence of fixing the issue is really weird, right? Like, at the very least, we can all agree that's weird as shit, right? Like, everyone around this is acting like there is a ticking time bomb here, and none of us on the outside know what it is outside of, hey, you guys are looking really suspicious. Yeah, it's very sus.
Why the FBI did not release that is unclear, and the agency offered no comment. Importantly, the Inspector General gives no indication there was a minute missing when their team reviewed the video. We can surmise the male staffer working the 4 to 12 shift would have left during the missing minute based on the report, leaving just Noel and Thomas. But that is not seen on camera. Serious problems with the government's investigation and witness statements don't end there. The report says the unit was secured by 2 doors, one requiring a key held only by Noel and Thomas. Noel told investigators no one could enter without her physically opening that door. But here's where it gets tricky. Let's look at this one example. 4 a.m. Noel remains in full view of the camera, yet seconds later, someone walks in, and it appears...
All gaffes, no breaks.
Yeah, no kidding. Second, thank you for the 2 Tier 1 subs.
Neither Noel nor Thomas let her in.
Oh, so it wasn't secured to just the people who should be there, because there are people coming and going who aren't either of them. So other people could have come in, and given that this is the only functioning camera, we might never see them. Huh.
The report is silent on this apparent contradiction. And even if there was no other key, both Noel and Thomas had ample opportunities to let someone in. At least a half dozen times, one or the other of them exits the camera frame in the direction of the door, all without explanation. We shared this with our forensic experts who agreed there was no way to conclusively determine from the video whether an unseen visitor was or was not let into the Epstein unit, although both Noel and Thomas have said no one else entered. At 6:22, either Thomas or Noel walk off screen again and reappear carrying food trays, breakfast for the prisoners. At this point, based on the autopsy results, Epstein is believed to already be dead. According to Thomas's account, he arrived at Epstein's cell to deliver his breakfast and found him in a seated position, his buttocks an inch from the ground, held up by a torn sheet tied to the bunk bed in his room. At 6:30, someone rushes in from off camera, according to the report. This was Noel returning to the desk to call for help after Thomas discovered Epstein. Epstein's body was quickly removed from the cell. Only Noel and Thomas witnessed him hanging. At 6:40 a.m., the video ends. Epstein's...
Oh, only the two people who had ample opportunity to let people in witnessed him hanging. Again, this all is suspicious as hell. Oh, it's suspicious as hell.
Capone. Most security breaches are in wetware. Squishy humans are weak and vulnerable.
AI Capone, thank you very much for the 5 tier 1 subs. Very, very much appreciated.
Body is not seen being removed. Both Thomas and Noel have said they played no role in Epstein's death. They were charged with falsifying documents, but those charges were dropped as part of a plea deal.
Oh, so they were also lying prior to their plea deal. Huh.
Additional clarification could come from a second camera mentioned in the report. It recorded an elevator bank in the same unit, although the report stated that it did not cover areas that would have included access to Epstein's cell. It would at least show a missing minute. We reached out to the Department of Justice to see about obtaining that footage. They referred us to the FBI, who referred us back to the Department of Justice. Neither Thomas nor Noel...
Huh, that's interesting. Why would you guys not want to release that footage?
Noel responded to our inquiries through their legal representatives. For a case that demanded transparency, it's yet another muddled chapter, raising more questions than it answers.
And that's the end of that reporting, but it is interesting to know that the FBI has access to footage from those elevators. The FBI has access to the footage of the missing minute. The other government agencies have this as well. There's a plea deal for the people involved at the heart of it. To cover for them lying. It's all very, very rotten, you know? Again, like, is that bedding being taken to his cell so he can hang himself? Did he even hang himself, considering the only people who are witnesses also were falsifying documents, I believe, in this case? So, like, again... not prone to conspiracism here, but like,
Hello?
damn, this is weird.
Hello? I wanted to record a message for you, to help you get settled in on your first night. The cameras occasionally glitch out for minutes.
Oh, God. 5 nights at Epstein's. God. Yeah, I mean, like, Konami the Alpha, I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea. If I was very, very, very prone to like my most conspiratorial, if I were to divulge my most conspiratorial impulse, it is that perhaps there's a slim chance that Jeffrey Epstein isn't dead. But that's, I have literally no basis of evidence for that other than this is all rotten as fuck. And I have no idea what the hell is going on or why this is all being obfuscated. I don't understand it. Unless, like, there is a nefarious plot, and either that plot is somebody, like, came in and killed him, or it was that they made it really easy for him to kill himself, or it was they like, switched him out with a body double. I don't know! But, like, damn. They released a couple of cadaver photos. Look, I don't know. The guy with the child rape island might have a body double. I don't know. That's my take on it. But this is all weird as hell. That's all I can really come to on this. Like, clearly people are lying. Clearly there is something weird, and clearly there is some amount of stake that our current president has in this. But what exactly it is, we don't know yet. Yeah, exactly, Velvet. Like, if we're talking about like billionaire freaks like Jeffrey Epstein, dude might have had a body double. That's not inconceivable. Yeah, we're going too far down this rabbit hole. I'm calling an audible. We're done. We're done with this. This has been your Jeffrey Epstein update for the day.
Riverboat deck is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's